The Rubicon, starring Jeremy Winston, in 3, 2, 1.
This is Jeremy Winston. You're on the Rubicon again. We have Kimberly Bulgin, who is the Minister of Music at Glenville Seminary Adventist Church in Cleveland, Ohio, and she is currently also working on a Master's of Church Music at Trinity Lutheran Seminary in Columbus, Ohio. So I'm sure you are racking up a lot of miles on your car going back and forth. Either that, or you're getting a lot of Southwest flight points between the two cities. And you know, listen, old man winter doesn't play any games here in Ohio. So I hope
no.
I hope your car's treating you good. Is it holding up for you?
It's holding up.
Awesome. Well, listen, we're very excited that you've taken some time to be on amidst your busy schedule. I know you just come from a conference in Huntsville, Alabama. But we wanted to chat briefly about church music. A couple of weeks ago, some of my listeners may have had the opportunity to hear my interview with Dr. Lloyd Mallory, who is the Director of Choral Activities at Delaware State University. And in this conversation, we started to talk about church music in general. And what is very clear to me as a musician, when who's studying music and the history of music and so forth, I learned early on that controversy of church music is something that has been around for centuries. Going back to the days of Bach, to Baroque, even to Renaissance, there's always been this controversy of what it was appropriate for music in the church. Did it sound too much like what was considered secular music in these days, magicals and so forth, or could we understand what they're saying? I mean, so much so, even when we go down to Martin Luther and the Reformation, I mean, they wrote their own hymns in not only protesting the Catholic Church and moving away from them doctrinally, but they actually said, we're going to write new music that will be more accessible. And so now we fast forward to today, and I think we still have the same conversation about music in the church, especially with the new, with a very newer style of music of worship in the church, which was once some may consider corporate worship, and with a lot more instruments than when I grew up with the church, the drum set, the Hammond organ, the bass player, all of these types of things for many people have created an issue for them in their worship experience, and some people outright think it is inappropriate. So I want to there's so many directions to go, but I wanted to first open up and hear your perspective and your idea on music in the church. Specifically, we're talking from the Seminary Adventist perspective, and its role that it plays, and why it's necessary that we accept some of these new trends.
Well, yeah, like you said, there's so many avenues that we could go down to discuss different aspects of music within the Adventist church. But I probably want to start off by saying that I think Adventism has been blessed with having such a variety of music styles. I think that's something that I wish we would capitalize on more, rather than allowing it to divide us, but allowing it to be something that can be celebrated and valued, because, you know, we attract people from various walks of life, various denominations. You know, people come from different backgrounds, and with that, they bring their experience and their unique response to the presence of God. And I think it's somewhat sad that over the years, we've kind of said that, you know, when you step into our faith, the music that comes with it, you know, has to be a certain way. Whereas I think it would be better if we would find ways to celebrate the various genres and styles and approaches that we could have when it comes to music in the church. I think that with where the music is now within Adventism, I think that we still have a strong sense of holding on to our songs that are considered traditional or older, while there's also been a bit of a shift towards singing more contemporary songs within the praise and worship type feel. And with it, I guess, like you said, there has also been a lot of controversy. And I think most of the controversies, I think, for one, stem from people having preferences and what they would be more comfortable with versus what they're uncomfortable with. Sometimes the preferences that people have, they try and color it as right or wrong or biblical or unbiblical, but I think that creates a slippery slope that you can't really come off of. And I think that's probably part of the reason why there's so many issues between this traditional versus contemporary, because it's really about what I like versus what you don't like. And if we could get past looking at it from a right or wrong and maybe start asking what's appropriate versus what's inappropriate, or come at it from what I prefer from what I don't prefer, I think that's probably a better conversation to have versus trying to write off certain styles as something that's wrong.
Arise and give God glory. This is the command of gospel artist Kimberly Bulgin. She commands everyone to give God praise in her hit single entitled Garment of Praise.
Now is the time for your garment of praise.
This song gives a bold command to praise God no matter what. Continue to praise God as you also enjoy Kimberly Bulgin's other hit single entitled God Chose Me.
God chose me.
Put on your garment of praise with gospel artist Kimberly Bulgin and experience a new level of praise and worship. Check out our download locations to purchase gospel artist Kimberly Bulgin's music. You can also find out more about Kimberly Bulgin on her website at KimberlyBulgin.com. Experience the power of God through the dynamic ministry of Kimberly Bulgin today.
In 49 BC, Julius Caesar led an army over the Rubicon River from Gaul into northern Italy. By doing so, he crossed the point of no return and declaration of war against the Roman Empire. Centuries later, you are listening to Jeremy Winston reach his point of no return only on Advent Sports, the Rubicon.
But I do want to just say one thing, though, that I don't co-sign with your ideology that Different World was a greater show than the Cosby Show, just in terms from an artistic perspective. I mean, like for me, the Cosby Show is a little more. I mean, let me just say the first couple of years of the Different World were really kind of pitiful. It didn't really start taking off for me. Let me see, what's a good kind of defining moment in the Different World?
The moment when Whitley and Dwayne
Wade houses Whitley from Byron. That trumps anything in TV history for black people. I don't care what it is.
For black people, dude, let me just say, I mean, it was such a very common artistic writing ploy, you know, to have somebody break up a wedding.
Whitley was the finest girl and the richest girl at the school. Dwayne Wayne was a nerd, skinny kid from Bed-Stuy. He took the hottest joint, and he took her from a state senator. Dude,
was he really a state senator? He was running for something. I thought he was running for like county commissioner or something like that.
Well, hey,
Byron.
The Rubicon is an ASN Talk Radio expansion franchise about current events, news, and geopolitics. All footage is taped in Dayton, Ohio, and produced at Advent Sports Network's downtown studios in the lovely Emerald City of Seattle, Washington.
Well, I think where sometimes this conversation starts. So let's broach it from this perspective. And this is one thing that I can absolutely agree with it, and that is the loss of the hymn being sung in church in a lot of situations, meaning that some churches now don't even purchase hymnals anymore. I think now most people listening are probably familiar with the hymnal. I'm not going to assume anything, but this is a collection of hundreds and hundreds of songs sung in church that was sung congregationally and so forth. I know some churches still sing them. I know some churches don't sing them. They replaced singing opening hymns with just the praise and worship. And the concern is that, these songs have great, not only do they have great rich melody, but they have oftentimes very beautiful poetry associated with this music, and the fear that it's just going to be lost, and it's going to be lost to something. And this is where I think the issue comes in to some, and some people's concern is that there's something with a little less poetic creativity, so to speak. So where do we how do we wrestle with that reality? And I think it is some reality that a lot of these hymns have gone by the wayside, are lost to almost a whole generation.
Well, I agree, and I'm one of those people that thoroughly enjoy both. I'm a lover of hymns. When I was teaching at my previous school, I would, there would be a curriculum on hymnology and teaching the children, how to use a hymnal and different hymns in the church, and just making sure that that was something that continued on, because, like you said, I don't want that to be lost. I think the people that are more on the side of wanting to sing contemporary songs, I think, need to be reminded that the songs of old at one point were contemporary themselves, and they are as important as the new songs that we sing unto the Lord. The songs that David wrote, at one point, they were new and fresh, and we continue to have them because of their timeless truths that we have, and they're not something that we should do away with. I think what happens is, I think it's unfortunate that we've treated, I think the way that people sometimes sing the hymns in the past, when in some worship experiences, have been done in such a way that's dreary and sad and not uplifting, and it shouldn't be that way at all. I mean, when you think about the words, like you said, so deep, so meaningful, having so much depth, they should be approached with just as much enthusiasm and excitement as singing Here I Am to Worship or How Great Is Our God. I mean, they're equal. And there's a lot of new material out there. I agree that there's also, within the contemporary world, there's a lot of music out there that's not good. But there was also a lot of music back in the day over these last 100 years that weren't so good, that haven't stood the test of time either. And I think there will be a lot of songs, contemporary songs, that we will continue to sing years from now because of the depth of the words and the melody. And then there will also be a lot of contemporary songs that will not stay on with us. Like, I can think of one that we continue to sing till this day. It's like over 25 years old now. Lord, I Lift Your Name on High. I mean, I'm personally tired of singing that song, but people,
right.
If you go to the top 25 CCM songs, it's still up there as a song that is continually sung at your local church. And then as well, even within our hymnal, we have 695, I think, songs in there or something like that. And I go to some churches and I don't even think we fully utilize all the hymns that are in there as well. Like we sing 522,
right.
Blessed Assurance, It Is Well With My Soul.
We have our 633, When We All Get to Heaven.
Right. We just kind of stay within those familiar songs. I was just having a conversation with, I won't mention his name, but I was like, you don't know this song, you don't know this hymn? How can you not know this hymn? It's just weird that there's so much more I think we could be doing musically, both with songs that remind us of the faith of our Christian ancestors that we can tap into, and I think there's more that we can do with responding to the presence of God with new, meaningful songs that I think both sides of the spectrum could contribute to a meaningful worship experience if we would just get over ourselves and get over our preferences.
The Rubicon is an ASN Talk Radio expansion franchise about current events, news, and geopolitics. All footage is taped in Dayton, Ohio, and produced at Advent Sports Network's downtown studios in the lovely Emerald City of Seattle, Washington.